Hello everyone, this is Planckera, and welcome to my universe. And hello there, Protox. So, last time I finished the crown. I do think there are a couple of things I want to do, but frankly, that they are simple. So, I am glad. I just decided I wanted a little bit more highlight around here, and then I also think I made a couple of places along the kind of metal net part thing here a little bit too much, too thick. So I'm going to go hide a few layers here and go from there. What is that? Is that just some stuff on the back here that I... No, oh, I know what you are. You're part of the headline. You know, today, I should be able to fix all that. I'm kind of looking forward to it, but yes, I am hopeful that today I will be able to finish off much of the head and get to the hair. That will be exciting. So, let's go ahead and get this the width I want it to be. It's just a little bit too much. Little bit too thick. Hello there, Blood Bullet. YouTube still hates you. Sounds good. What would you like me to call you? Should I still call you Blood Bullet? But anyway, just shaving a little bit of this off here, and I already think it's much better width. I'm going to try to match this side here. And everything else I thought looked fine. I just want a couple more highlights on it. I don't think I'm going to put any highlights on the net. I certainly could, but I don't think I will. Alright, sounds good. I will do that. Okay. Fortunately, it's sometimes a little hard to shave off just a thin strip of color here. Oh, and I have the layer locked, which is not helping. Okay, so there we go. I think over here is fine. Right through here, still a little tiny bit thick. So I'll go shave that down just a little. That's too thin. I don't want to make it too thin either. That would be equally as not good. There we go. I think that's doing better. Let's go ahead. I see a little hole there. Let's make that a little smoother while I'm here. And now I think I can just get into the last little bit of highlight that I want to put on things, which is just like right through here. Just a little thin spot right through here. And that was the only place that I wanted a little bit more highlight. I think the rest are looking okay. I'll take another look at them, just to make sure. But I think this is the last little thing that I want here. This was the only area that I remember feeling like it was kind of lacking. Could use a little bit more interest or something. Okay, I'm gonna go turn the layers back on. She can have her face back and everything, and let's see, I think I might make that a little bit thicker. But otherwise, I'm just gonna take a quick look around here. Just get her whole head in frame and make sure I'm satisfied. Because it would be nice to not have to come back to things. And actually, I think this thickness is about right. It looked a little thin when I was zoomed out, which... No, that does mean it's a little thin. I do have to care about what it looks like zoomed out, because that's how people will see it. Because nobody ever clicks to see the full image on, like, Twitter or anything. So I want to make sure it still looks good when everything's zoomed out. Which does mean that this should be just a little bit thicker. But at the very least, I can keep all the layers on now. I do like to think about the context that people will actually see the image. So, in my experience, there's generally two. One with it fully zoomed out, so that this way they can actually, like, fit it on the screen. And the other is zoomed in fully to see the details, so I basically care at what percentage I can fit most of it on the screen. I tend to make it a little bit smaller because my screen is quite large. And then just zoomed in at a 100%. So I do try to care about both of those. Zooming into a 200% is just for my own benefit. I don't mind leaving things just a tad messy at 200%. And I will check the other areas while I'm zoomed out, just to make sure that they're all thick enough too. So let's see, I'll get the whole face in here. But yeah, I think everything else looks pretty okay. Maybe just a little bit more through here. Just a little bit. Have it taper off just a little bit more nicely there. And then the touch just right here. Okay. Yeah, and that's a little bit better. Okay, so that means I can go back to doing everything else. And I was looking at her eyes here, and I am wondering if I have this iris in a bad spot. So what I think I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go mess around with that a little. I don't actually have the eyeball in its own group. A lot of the time I do. That's fine. I don't think I really need to worry about it. So I'll just grab all those layers and move this over just a touch. Oh, I grabbed the eyelashes? Oh, the eyelashes are right there. Okay. Yeah, that's right, of course. I did put the little glowing eye part on the top of the eyelashes. Okay. Oh, is it not acknowledging my transform? No, it is. Okay, there we go. That was weird, but looks like it's okay. Yeah, that's a little bit better. And then I was also considering changing the shape of her pupils from round to the kind of flower that she has in there. You can't really see it here, but there's a flower in her pupils. It's just when her eyes were wide, if you looked at her rigging during the stream, when her eyes get wide, they become kind of black and circular as opposed to the little flower pattern in there. So I hadn't officially decided yet. I'll leave it like this for now, and I will revisit it just a little bit later. I kind of like the idea of one being more normal than the other. I do think that the eyes need a little bit more detail to them, though. I'm just not quite sure how to do it yet, so I think I want to render out the face before I start messing around with her eyes. So I'm going to go hide her body, and then I'm going to kind of define her jawline here. Do I want to define the jawline or the colors first? Normally, I'd say I should absolutely do the line first, but right now I'm not so convinced. I think I might actually just merge them together. Because I'm pretty sure I can get away with just moving this down here at this point, since I'm using something else to define the back of the head. That was a thing when I was getting started here. Okay. Erase some of the excess color there. I'll do it on her hair too. Maybe I won't. Okay, no, this is fine. Oh, wrong layer. There we go. So I'll just merge them both together. And now I can just kind of get the outline and everything else at the same time. Okay, inverting the colors on her face, it's going to look weird for a second, but it'll help me figure out where I should put the black of the shadows on this side. So, we will have inverted teeth for a moment. I am just always very easily amused by the colors I get when I go and invert the colors so I can see. Some of the colors I get are just fascinating, and I gotta say, the black teeth with the white shadows, actually kind of cool. I'm gonna have to keep that in mind. Keep that in mind for future art. I don't think it's appropriate here. But it is kind of cool. That's kind of a thing that I am maybe a little interested in playing with, and just doing very weird and unexpected things with light and color. I think I could probably get something kind of cool out of it. I'm gonna do the same with the hair, so this way I know where it ends. So we're gonna have a green-haired Malice for a moment here. It's fine. But what I think I would like to do is just put a little bit of skin tone right through here. Just to kind of separate her hair out a little bit and make it clear what is hair and what is not. So, you know, there's going to be a little bit of experimenting going on here, as always. Because I want to try to get the most I can out of this particular style. I think it is capable of very interesting things. So I want to run many more experiments with it. This is why I am drawing 5 pictures. Why I am drawing all of Saga. But as always, I can only do one at a time, and I still lament this greatly. So yeah, I need to be able to hook myself up to, you know, some kind of robot body, and then just have drones I can control mentally running around doing all the things, and then I could do all the things, all of them. I'm not sure if my brain would be able to handle it, but it's a cool thought. My husband and I have been playing factory games, and if you are familiar with Factorio, at some point in the game you get a bunch of little robots that start doing things for you, and then you can just slap down huge amounts of buildings, or blueprints of buildings, I should say, and the bots will just go out and build it for you, and it's fantastic. And then everything can just start working. You don't even have to be on the same planet, and everything just works. It's great. I'd love to be able to do that. The limitations of the flesh are truly terrible. And this line, not wanting to be straight enough, is also truly terrible. Okay, there it goes. It's still a little bit curved, like right through here. This is why I zoomed in, so this way I could work out some of the lumps that were bothering me. But it must be straight. It must be, like, perfectly straight. I probably have to get both sides at once here. That's probably what's bothering me, rather than anything about the line itself being wrong. And then I want up here to be a little bit thicker, because this is the side of the head we see. We don't see that much of, like, the bottom of her chin, so I don't want this one to be too thick. But I do want it to get thicker as we go up here. Yeah, kind of like that. I think that should be pretty fantastic. Let me check it. Inverted colors aside? Yeah, I dig it. Okay, let's go. I think I'm even gonna do a little bit more. And then right through here, gonna need a little bit of flesh color. Just to separate it from the hair a little bit. I don't want it to go all the way to the bottom, though. I still want this to be mostly black. I still want it to fade into darkness there. Okay, so now, hopefully, I should be able to finish off this bottom part. That's driving me slightly nuts. As always, you know, I don't mess around on the face. The face must be perfect. So I'm always willing to spend a lot of extra time to smooth out all the chunks. Okay. So, good news on the writing front today while I perfect this line here. Just the act of going through and spamming a bunch of words for National Novel Writing Month. I guess they're calling it Novel November now, since the National Novel Writing Month org died, but I'm a bit out of the loop on what writers on social media are doing, because God, I have been trying to be more active on Twitter, but I don't like Twitter. But still, I would like to do a little bit of off-stream interaction here and there. And Twitter's a pretty good way to do it. So I try. But yes, on the writing front there, just the act of spamming enough words to actually do this kind of helped me figure something out writing-wise. It's a little hard to describe, but I think I have a better idea on how to structure things and how to actually kind of decide what happens and what would make such things work. So things have been going a little bit more smoothly the past couple of days, and it's really nice. It's always nice when you just reach those points of revelation after just flailing like you wouldn't believe for a long time. I still remember very early on in my I guess I can call it art career, sure. I don't really like using the word career, but when I was just, a baby artist, I remember one of my early revelations, and that was just, I struggled really hard to get eyes to look good, and I just studied eyes for a long time, and I eventually figured out that the thing that makes them look good is the shiny specular highlight. And even with no further shading, I mean, this one has basically none, right? I still think this eye looks pretty good. It's all about the shiny part. and realizing that was actually just utterly mind-blowing for my baby self. So I'm kind of doing something similar with writing now, and I'm just like, wait, that's it? Yeah, legit, I think that's it. Even though it's like, it's hard to describe. But the revelation I have it was literally something along the lines of, to decide where the plot where the plot should go, think about a scene you want to write, and that's it. From there, you can do so much. And so I was just really surprised. I was like, wait, really? That's it? Okay, cool. It sounds really obvious now that I say it, but yeah, you just go from the scene you want to write, the thing you want to do. And then you say, okay, well, that's a thing. How can I make it happen? And it unironically makes things happen. It stops being this open field where I just don't understand anything. and it turns it into something where, you know, maybe I have a little something to latch onto. And turns out that that was all I needed. Okay, I can't see what I'm doing with all the inverted colors here, so you just kind of pull it back a bit. I really... Oh, wrong layer. Okay, I might want this to follow the nose a little bit better, but I'll worry about that in a second. I just want to get the part by her eyes here. You know, speaking of small revelations, I remember on Monday's stream that I was having trouble getting the style of shading I wanted on Pippa. But I figured out the problem with that too, and it's actually really easy. And it's that as an artist, I really, really, really like contrast. Like, everything I do is like super duper high contrast. And it turns out, if you want to go for really soft shading, you can't do high contrast. I studied a bunch of artists that were kind of doing what I want, or at least adjacent to it, and I realized, yeah, my problem is probably just my ever-loving love of contrast. And it made me think of it, because I'm just like, look at this. I'm literally using black and white here. I cannot get more contrast here if I tried. And it's true, I really do like contrast a lot. Maybe to an unhealthy degree. But I think it's cool. I think it is amazingly cool. And it makes me very happy. But I'm gonna have to give some of it up in order to actually kind of do what I want to do. So that'll be tomorrow. Tomorrow, you get to see me fight my instincts in a whole new way. Instead of, you know, straight lines with no curves. Speaking of which, I was trying to curve a line there. No can do. But yeah, instead of straight lines with no curves, it's gonna be tone down the contrast. Sometimes it really just is the small things. Let me see, how should this actually go? Like, I know what I'm trying to do structurally. It's like the eye socket kind of comes down from the eyebrow and then goes around, and I'm trying to kind of define the edge of the nose here, which I have like this, which I actually think looks pretty good. So now it's just kind of the forehead where it all connects. What does that look like again? Yeah, something like that. Probably fine. Let me check it. Yeah, I think that's probably about right. Okay, and now I can invert the colors again and get things to line up with how I drew the nose a little bit better. Mostly like down here. The shape I have there doesn't really matter that much. As long as I have this shadow doing something that I like. And I actually think this looks better than what I had before, so it's fine. I will go ahead... Oh, I drew on the wrong layer. I shouldn't do that. We good? Yeah. But yeah, the main thing is that I just wanted to follow the bottom part a little bit better there. What I had here is largely placeholder, just because I have to have a nose down to figure out tilt and stuff on the face. Limitation of my human mind. It is necessary for me. But yeah, it was funny there. Figuring out what to do with the forehead, that's basically anatomy knowledge. For beginners, I really don't think anatomy is worth studying at all. Like, legit, not at all. It just, I think people confuse anatomy with proportion. And you should definitely know your basic proportions, but you can find, like, tiny cheat sheets online for that. It'll take you like 10 minutes to read, and you'll have all the information you need. Just know, you know, eyes halfway down the head, arms are, go about down to the upper thigh, and your elbow is gonna line up with your belly button roughly, and that kind of thing. You don't need to know your muscle groups. Like, that is just utterly useless information that people will only talk about to show off. Unless, you know, you get really good. But then at that point, it's not a beginner topic anymore. And then there are some people where it's just like, okay. I see this with some artists, where they just think a certain part of the body is just like super beautiful. I see it with like, what's her name? A Bloom and Bax. I also see it with, I apologize, I'm gonna butcher this name horribly, but Fajbayore and backs, and also thighs. I see that with her a lot too. So, there are just some people out there where they just think some part of the body is super beautiful, and that they just really, really go in on all the detail and getting everything about it like just right. And yeah, if you're one of those kinds of people where, you know, there's just something out there that you just really, really like, yeah, learn the anatomy for that part, so this way you can just make the most gorgeous back possible. Sure, that's worth studying anatomy for. But if you're just a normal person that wants to draw a person, I really don't think anatomy is all that important. I really don't. Just your basic proportion and ability to find the balance between the features. Oh, I like that. I think I want it to be a little more sharp. I'm basically changing the entire shape of the nose I drew at the beginning, and that's fine. I don't have to hold myself to anything that I drew at the beginning. But that is my opinion on anatomy. Don't study anatomy. And by anatomy, I'm talking about, like, the muscle groups, the name of things. Just get your basic proportions and go. Unless you're gonna do something real specific with it. And you just think backs are the best. And you need to know all the muscle groups on them. Okay, let me see. That little pink spot up there, is that excess on the eyebrow? Sure is. Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. Took me a second. Do I like the nose? I think I can do something a little bit better with it. I might even just erase the old little bit of nose I have here, since I'm defining it elsewhere now. I think I can do something a little bit better with it. Let's see. We're kind of like seeing a little bit of the underside, so I kind of want to add just like a little bit there. And like what I had before was very useful for getting me this far, but now it is not doing what it needs to do. So I'm actually going to liquefy this just a little to get the tilt right. But I'm not quite happy with the tilt. Okay, and I actually kind of hate that little divot that I put there. Alright, little nose, what do I want to do with you? What do I want to do with you? I clearly have something in mind, but whatever it is, it's not coming out of my pencil. These things happen. Okay, I think I'm okay with this. Yeah, seems alright to me. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna fix the hair now. We don't need that inverted, and then I can kind of separate out the hair here, because I do think I like this, like, little bit of separation between the hair and things, and then I'll probably do the same thing for this eye here. I know I will definitely do it for this eye here. I started doing it, like I have it separated over the eye, but I need to separate it over the skin, too. So I will get to that. I am drawing on the wrong layer. I keep doing it. That's alright. Let's fix that. I was like, wait, why are you going over the eye? That should definitely not be happening. And I'm like, oh, I'm on the hair layer. We don't need to be drawing any skin on the hair layer. Should be no skin in the hair. If there is, something has gone horribly wrong. Alright, let's smooth out this right here. Kind of want it to taper off there. I don't really... I think I'm fine with the way the finger is. I don't think I need, like, skin tone going around it like this. Yeah, it doesn't need the separation. It's fine for them to kind of fade into each other. But I just felt like here, it was interfering with, making the hair look three-dimensional. It was looking a little thin and a little flat, so I felt like I needed something here. And I get the feeling that I'm just gonna be adding those kinds of lines on a case-by-case basis. It may not always make sense, but if my intuition says it's needed, then I will trust it. And this one I think already looks good, so... Let's see, anything further needed? No, I think that's good. Okay, so I'm gonna invert the color here, and I'm gonna use that to determine where I need a little bit of skin tone around the eyelashes here. And I'll just block it in real quick. I'll probably have to clean it up a little after, that's fine. That's in fact extremely normal, and it's looking like I might need to extend this because I kind of don't like the way this is tangenting. So I'm gonna bring this down just a little bit further here. This means I'm probably gonna cover up a lot of what I just did, but that's fine. I'll fix it. It just needs to come a little further there. Okay, that should be good. Is it good? Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Alright, so I'll put a little bit of skin tone around the eyelash there. I want to see what it looks like on this side too. I am not sure if I will keep this, but I want to give it a try. Just to kind of see what it looks like. Oh yeah, and I even have everything over there super blurry, so if I do want to keep it like that, then I will need to smooth that out. But I can do that. I can do whatever I want. Okay. No, that's quite good, actually. Okay. I like that a lot. Let's go ahead and smooth out the eyelash before I get any further then. And just because that will be a problem if I don't. Oh, let's see, how should I do this? I think I'm just gonna hide all of my shadow stuff there real quick and just straighten things out here. It wasn't really relevant on the first pass of the eyes because it was just getting lost in the shadow. And I wasn't sure if I was going to separate it at the time, so I didn't worry about it. But now I know I like it lots, so here we go. Let's make this look good. I'll even give her a couple little eyelashes. Couple little lower eyelashes because they are relevant now. Make her eyelashes super fluffy. Okay. At this point, no, I don't really feel like I have enough information, so I'm gonna plop down. Gonna invert the colors and plop down some of these darker colors here, because when I invert things again, they will be light. Okay. That should be enough. So now I should just be able to smooth out everything I got here. And I should have some nice looking eyelashes. Indeed, I think they're already looking pretty good. I'm a little too zoomed in there, but... Okay. Let's see, and I do have a couple of thoughts on the eye there. Oops, wrong color. So I think I'll do my little eye experiments right after I finish this. This eye I think looks fantastic though, so I'm not going to touch it. In theory. If I do something that works really, really well on the other eye, maybe I'll give it a try on this one, but I don't really feel like this one needs any further attention from me. It is already very demanding of it. Okay, that's running into the finger. I just want to make sure that these are nice and pointy and look very eyelash-like. Okay, so that should be good. Let's go derp around with the eye here. I'm just going to draw directly on the layer, and all I really want to do is I want to add a few little lines there. Do I like it? No, I like it better without. What about as a little half circle or even just a full circle? Because I didn't really like that either. Because, no, if I do it like that, it's just going to look like a specular. Okay. Hello there, Slayer. Thank you. I mean, so far so good. I kind of feel like the eyes need a little something, but I'm not sure what, so I'm probably just going to revisit it later. Anyway, let me get the last little bit of detail on her face here. This is gonna be like the only bit of soft color that I add. Just because I don't think it would look good if I made it as rigid as everything else. So this is going to get to be an exception, and that's going to be the blush on the cheeks. Just to make her face, you know, a little bit more lively here. And I want a little bit on her lips. This is going to be the only bit of softness. And everything else gonna be, you know, the stark black, white with just a little splash of color. But I don't know how to make this work as just a super, you know, on or off, black or white kind of deal. So I'll keep it subtle. I'm sure there's a way to do it well, but I certainly don't know what it is, so I'm not going to worry about it. And I think this looks all right. Let's see, I want to tone it back just a little here. So all I did was turn my brush into an eraser, and now I'm just kind of going over it until it is blended in a way that I enjoy. I want to keep this a little bit softer. Normally, I wouldn't mind a lower lip being a little bit... have a little bit of a harder edge, as opposed to, you know, a super borderline gradient edge that I'm going for here. But... it just kind of ended up being necessary, I guess. Okay, that should be fine. And then I'm a little scared, so I'm just going to make another layer for it, and then just put a tiny little highlight right there. Just a little guy. I don't know, would it look good on her other cheek too? Probably not. Yeah, no good on the other cheek. Of course. Even if I didn't do another layer, it still would be easily reversible, but... Okay, layers just make it a little bit easier. Yeah, that should be good. And then maybe just one more little light on her lower lip here. Yes. Okay, let's clean that up. And then... I think it'll be time to move on to the rest of her hair. We're gonna give Malice her wings. Those giant buns. All I can think about is that they look like giant wings on her hair. Alright, looks good to me. So, let's see. Actually, before I do her hair, I should probably get her ear. It's kind of just floating out there in the middle of nowhere right now. So, probably don't want it there. Let's go plop it. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. Go plop it down here where it should be. It got kind of pushed around a little bit. The poor little ear. And then I do think that the one on the other side should be showing a little bit just because her ears are so dang big. So I'll go ahead and draw that too. Let's see, it should be like... I have the layer locked. Something like this. I think I'm just gonna leave this entire spot black. Actually. Oh yeah, that's probably why I didn't draw it, because it's just gonna get eaten by her hair. But no, I'll put like an outline around it or something. It'll be fine. It'll get seen. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of fill that in, measure it up with her eyes there. Let's see, they're a little bit lower than her eyes, right? Pretty close to equal, but a little tiny bit lower. So if the top of her eyes are like right in here in her hair. Speaking of, I think I missed a spot there. No? What are you then? Why is there a white spot there? I do not feel like there should be. And yet, when I color here, okay. That was weird. I mean, that's what I thought it was, but then I tried to color there, and it stayed the wrong color. But, so I don't know what happened, but it's better, so... I'm not gonna complain. Alright. Anywho. So let's see. Eyelash about there. So the ear should be doing something like this. Right now it kind of gives the impression of going down when I want it to go like straight across. So I'm gonna fix that. And yeah, they're very, very triangular. So let's see, the corner of the jaw, probably like right about here. So it should kind of come up like this. We will give her appropriate knife ears. Okay. This still feels a little bit angled incorrectly. Something about it just makes me feel like they're pointing downward. So, the way I see her ears is that, you know, they're very straight across. They go like here and then down. Whereas the impression I get from mine right now is that they do this. And do not want. We are not making a less than sign here. It is straight. So, that's what I gotta fix there. I'm gonna get rid of the shape in the background there just so I can see a little bit better. And then I can diagnose the problem here. Okay, just to make my life a little bit easier, I'm gonna invert the color on her eyelashes so I can see them. And this way I can kind of know where these guys gotta go. Ah, that's why. Okay. Turns out to fix my problem, I gotta angle it down more, which feels weird, but I think that's what I gotta do. And then skew the tip. Okay. So now I will get these perfectly straight, and I don't want the lines on them to be this thick, so I should probably visit the inside as well. These are just little ears. I kind of don't want them to call attention to themselves. So I'll just kind of poke at this for a second until I am happy with my angles. And then once I am happy with those angles, then I can really get into things. But the angles here are important. And try to think of the proper angles for when it's a little bit skewed like this. You know, maybe I should just rotate the canvas. I like to try to avoid doing that or zooming in and out too much, because it makes the time-lapse look better when I speed it up. Just the things I think about, but I might need it here because, yeah, the ears are something else here. They still look like they're pointing the wrong way. To be fair, the whole face is indeed a little skewed, but it's okay. Let's see, I think I need to turn it a little bit more here. There we go. So yeah, whole face is a little bit skewed, but it's alright. In its proper position, I think it still looks fine. Okay, I guess that works. Looks fine to me. Okay. So now I can get line thickness and all that fun stuff right. These are definitely too thick for what it is here. I don't want it to be as thick as the line of the chin. Okay, I'm gonna fix the eyelashes. I don't want them to remain inverted forever, so I'll just go ahead and fix it now because I don't think I need them anymore. Or I don't need them to measure anymore. So I'm just kind of starting by getting the line over there straight. Let's get its thickness a little bit better right away too, and I'll worry about straightening all that out. I'm going to leave this line a little bit thicker. Not quite as thick as it is, but significantly thicker. Because I feel like we do see a little bit of the bottom of the ears, and this will make it look a little bit more three-dimensional. Okay, so now I can smooth out this line in peace. I think that this is an appropriate thickness for those lines there. And I will put a few details inside of the ears, but probably not a lot, and the lines on them will be pretty thin. Just enough to, you know, make it look a little bit more interesting and a little bit less like a giant triangle grafted to the side of her face. Definitely not what I'm going for. It's an ear. And then she has earrings and stuff. I will be drawing those later. Like, way, way later. I'm probably going to have most of the body finished before I draw the earrings, honestly. I always like to save small accessories like that for close to the end. Just as a personal taste. I don't really like doing them too early. We'll see if I change my mind. Sometimes they're kind of a nice thing to do when I'm nearing the end of a session, but I have like a little bit more time. Because they're easy. They're nice and easy, and the reason that I tend to save them for the end is just because they are nice and easy. So even when I'm tired or sick of working on something, I can just get them in and not worry about it. My line keeps ending up blobby, and it's very unfortunate. This does remind me that I have a couple more details that I do want to put on the TR, and those I will probably do sooner. I might even do it right after I finish this. Just because that actually overlaps with her hair. And hair is very important on the anime girls. It is like half of their character design. So that's a little bit different. This will probably overlap their body a little bit, but not much. Anything that overlaps with hair, nah. You gotta get that. Actually, this probably will overlap with her back hair a little bit, so maybe I will have to do them sooner. Normally, I don't think too hard about these things. It's just while I'm smoothing out lines, there's not a lot to think about, and my mind wanders. So it's like, ah, yes. When will I do her earrings? Does it matter? No. Will my brain think about it anyway? Yes. Just will not smooth. Keeps being blobby, and I hate it. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Let's see, what do her ears look like? So we got this little bit in the middle, a little dark spot here, and a little ridge there. Okay. I can do that. So we're gonna have a little bit here. Let's see, which side do we see more of? It's gonna be here. So this will be the thicker line. Goes out to the edge. And then we'll have a nice little thin line just coming down here, in theory. No, I want it to be a little closer. Straight line drawn time! That means it's focus time. The one thing that can really get me to focus. Okay, and I will adjust this line accordingly to get it the proper thickness. At least the skin part to be the right thickness. And then I'm just gonna kind of clean up the couple of areas where I went a little off track. Mostly like right here. That's why I lifted up the pencil. Okay. Okay. So that should be good for that part. So then this corner is gonna have... I almost drew it curved, but I caught myself this time. Little shadow up here. Okay, and then... You know what? I should use my other reference. It's a little bit more high quality. Let's see, what do your ears look like? Oh no, okay, so I brought this line a little bit too far. You know, I'm actually okay with that because this should actually make it a little bit better looking. Okay. And I should actually... Let's see. Let's see here. Ridge here. I don't normally draw ears. I'm definitely not used to knife ears, especially. But a lot of time I just cover up ears with hair, so I'm actually kind of trying to study the pattern in the ear here. I kind of hate drawing ears, if I'm being honest. They're probably my least favorite part of the face to draw, because they don't do very much. They're just kind of there. There's a reason that it's easy to just cover them up with hair. It's because they don't do much. So I don't like them. Alright, I want to perfect this little bit of ear here, but the rest I'll just leave in darkness. It was something like that on her. And then there's like a little dark spot up into this ridge, and then it gets lighter again. Kind of forming the shape of that, and it goes across. Should be fine. I think I might simplify this shape though, honestly. I think I'm just gonna do it like this. I don't think it needs to be that complicated. Okay, and then... this part should actually be a little bit bigger. And then somewhere in there I should include a... like a light spot, but I think I'd have to make it much bigger for that. I think I actually just kind of like it like this. I think this is fine. Just gotta make the line here a little thicker looking. Let it kind of do an interesting taper like this. Okay. And that should be good. Certainly sufficient for what I am doing. But I actually feel like Malice's ears are kind of important. If you're gonna have, like, the giant elf ear thing going for you, your ears suddenly become a lot more important. Because I actually do feel like elf ears are their own kind of specific appeal. Someday I will get this line to straighten out. There's just like the occasional little blob sticking out there, and I don't like it. Okay. Yeah, that's all right. That seems pretty okay. And then I'll put earrings on it eventually. I don't feel like doing it right now. Let's go ahead and smooth out this other ear. Let's go ahead and smooth out that other ear. We only really see the tip of this one. The rest of it is kind of behind her head, and I think the only reason we see part of this, I think it's actually a little bit high up, but I think the only reason we see any of this at all is just because her ears are so dang big. Oh yeah, I guess the reason I didn't draw it before is because I got covered by the hand. Okay, that's fine. I don't mind just leaving a little tiny tip up there, just showing how freaking huge her ears are. Sounds good to me. Alright, with that, I think that the head part is done. Which means it's time to get into her wings on the back of her head here. So before I actually get too into that, now that I know where everything is going to live out there, I want to correct the shadows. Because they're kind of a mess. I haven't touched them since my initial sketch. And I think I need to badly. Okay. So there's a braid here. It's this braid out the side of her head there. Oh yeah, and I haven't drawn the hair clip. I should actually do that too. I think I'm gonna get... I just want to finish her hair before I get into the rest of the accessories. I think this is one I could do in either order. But I just wanna. I wanna draw the rest of her hair. I love these stupid hair buns. They are fantastic. Okay. So let's see, I don't actually think we see that like this. I think that this is a bit more like, wait, do we even see the top there? Like, how are these gonna be angled? I think we see it in, not the top, but the bottom. So over here is like where we get the... Where we see the inside of the hair. And that's a little unfortunate, but I just have all these lines going the wrong way. That's exactly... Well, one of the many reasons why I said I had to kind of revisit the shadows here. Because I didn't think they were quite right. Ideas were solid, though. No, I want the shadows from the ears to be on this side. Yeah, I think that's about right. And then the hair should be kind of going this way. And then we see, like, the underside of the hair here. Okay, you are not part of this hair group, so that's fine. And I think that also means that I want this to be shaped just slightly differently. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that shape in. Just try to get the perspective going here. Got some cast shadow from the head there, and this we see the side of, so I'm gonna go ahead and make it dark. But this side should be thin, or at least thinner. So something like that, and then, let's see here. What do I want to do? I just feel like it needs some of these groups in there in order to look like hair. So let's see, how does your hair look? So we kind of got this group here, then we got this big group here, and then a little group there. So what I think I need is like a little bit just sticking out harder here. All right. Well, it's nice to have those things finished, isn't it? I hope you're able to rest well. Okay. Okay, and then this side will have like another little black area there, and let's see, I kind of want to erase the top here, so this way it looks like we're seeing inside. Just another little spot there. All right. Well, rest well. Sounds like you've earned it. And then back up here, I'm gonna do something like this and kind of pull the hair out here. Just pull it into that new group I just made. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. It's round, which is a problem, but I'll fix that problem a little bit later. It's fine. Okay, now I just got to do the same thing to the other side. Then a little spot that comes out a little. And a little spot that comes out a little there, and then I just go back and add little pink lines kind of going across there. Oh, I accidentally drew that in black. And then a little spot like right here. And this should actually connect fully over here. Okay, there we go. I think that looks pretty okay. Yeah, I think that looks all right. And then I can just decide what I want to do to make it hair-like all at the end when I do the same thing on the top here. But I think this is what I want to smooth out. And actually, before I get into that, I kind of want to draw the braid because that's going to be something. Okay. Because I think we only see part of it because her head is tilted in a way that lets her front hair cover part of it, but not that much. Like that is pushing it. But I think this is the point where I merge my layers. So this way I don't have to be switching back and forth between two and driving myself insane that way. I prefer to avoid driving myself insane when I can help it. It makes life easier. And besides, I think this will actually be pretty straightforward. There we go. Maybe like a couple more just up here. Something kind of like this. Let's see, am I satisfied with the size of the braid? I'm only showing about half. I think I want it a little bit bigger. I'm just gonna use Liquify to help me out here. So here, come on out just a little bit more there, little braid. There we go. And I can show a couple of hints of like the other side. Just kind of through there. You will still disappear into nothing, though. You're gonna go just behind the giant wing. All right. Yeah, I think that's good. Do I still have everything in kind of the right place? Do I need to move you up at all? No, I think it's all correct. Yep, I think that works. All right. All right. So let's see here. I'm just kind of debating where I want to start, but I think I want to start with this right here. So let's go ahead and straighten all this out. I think I'm gonna turn it into a straight like this. I'm gonna do 3 bends. And then bends back down over here. And right now I'm still gonna be a little bit messy. Just because I want to get kind of the basics in here. I think it's a bit too early for me to go full on smoothing yet. Okay, and the same kind of thing here. Across. And then down. And this one, I think I want to be a little bit straighter like that. There we go. And you kind of have to be angling backward a little bit, I think. Like this. No. Is that right? No, it doesn't feel right. So I'm gonna trust my instincts and do it the other way. Okay. I want a little bit of separation on the other bit of hair here, so I'm gonna put a little pink line there. And then straight. Then make it straight. I want these lines to be nice and thick. These ones do not have to be quite so thick. Let's see, I don't like the way that these are aligning with each other, so I'm gonna pull this a little further back here. And just angle it like that. There we go. And I'm gonna lock the layer for a moment just so I can get this perfectly straight through here. Perfectly straight. And I think I want just a little thing kind of doing that. I think that'll be nice. Okay, now I unlock the layer again. I'm gonna add a little line going through here to kind of separate those strands. And now just a matter of constructing the rest of this. What did that part look like? Okay. So I'm gonna let this kind of come down and in from here. Just to make it look a little bit more like the same group of hair and not just a couple of strands sitting on top of each other. I think that would be a little bit weird looking, so I do want to fix that. Turn this over here into all straights. Still no curves allowed forever and ever in this drawing. It's alright. It's like the curves will be allowed elsewhere. This is just the space for the straight lines. This is where they get to shine. Let's see, I want this to be longer. Then I'll just angle it more like that. There we go. Okay, it's still ended up a little curved, but I'll straighten it out at the end here once I make sure I am happy with how things actually look here. So something like that. I will let's see, this, I think I'll make it a little thicker there. And I'll bring a little strand here. It's not going to be as long as the last one. It's going to be a little guy. And then the rest will just, you know, be like the hair texture and stuff. And I don't think I want that much of it. I'm not quite satisfied with this. It's too parallel. Okay, let's see. Do I want hair texture in there right now? I mean, I think I do eventually. I'm just deciding if I want to do it yet or if I want to save it for when it's time for science. No, I want to do it now. Okay. Like here, I think worked without too much hair texture. I did put like a little spots where they like overlapped and stuff. But here, I just don't think it does. So I'm just gonna start doing it now. I just don't think it looks good without it. No, this can't be shaped like that. It has to have the other bend in the curve that everything else does. I won't let this one go all the way to the end, but it can go most of the way. This one can just be a little guy, that's fine. Okay, so something like that. I definitely need to vary up the thickness of those lines a little. They look very samey, which makes them look pretty bad right now, so let's go ahead and vary them up a little. I want some to be thicker, some to be thinner, some to be longer, some to be shorter. You gotta have all kinds in order to make hair look good. Just doesn't work without it. Okay, and then that's a start. I still don't think it looks great, but I think it's okay for now. So let's see, over on the other side, I'll fix it all up when it comes time to do smoothing. We're just gonna have the same kind of idea over here, straight, angle down. And then I'll just add like a little bit of hair texture running across it. But for the most part, it's just going to be all black. There we go, something like that. With maybe just a little bit happening over here. Okay, yeah, I think I can work with this. Okay. So now I can start smoothing things out for real. Ugh. Nose, not happy with me for some reason. Keeps happening, man. Okay. Let's smooth this out. So all of this needs to go. Right here is fine. And I'll just add like the last little bit of like the back of her head here. I actually think even that's a little bit too much. I think it just kind of disappears right around here. Okay, good. That means I don't need anything at all. I already have it defined by the edge of the hairband. So that's nice and convenient for me. Let's see, her braid does go all the way up and around, right? No. It starts, I'd say probably right about here. So over here should actually not be. This should be the first one. Which does make it change shape a little bit here. Okay. I'm going to be mostly focused on the edge right now. And I will go back and get the center just a little bit. Oh man. Nose is so itchy. I hate it. I don't know why it keeps happening, but it does. For whatever reason, streaming just makes my nose extremely itchy. Just get all kinds of little tickles. I just want to sketch out the inside a little bit there, because I want to see where some of these shadows should fall. This side I'm going to make a little bit closer there. The outside will be about the same, nonetheless. There we go. There we go. Oh, wrong color. Get all this nice and pointy. Don't want any wishy-washy curves, only straights. Okay. So I'm just going to do that all the way down the braid, and then before I think I move to the main clump of hair here, I'm going to kind of get the centers and just smooth out everything braid related for now. Unfortunately, I think I can keep this pretty simple. And then this one will just go out into here and kind of connect with the rest of her hair. And I gotta say, I'm really glad that I don't have to draw the braid on the other side. This one's pretty simple because I only see one side, but man. I had a time drawing that braid going across her head. So I'm kind of glad that I only have to draw a little bit on this one. Alright. About how thick do I want that line to be? I want it to be a little thicker than the lines on this part of her hair. I think that level of thickness is fine. I'm gonna roll with it. And we'll just put a little nod to the crystal right there. But otherwise, you know, just nice and straight. Little nod to the crystal here too. Okay. And then with the way things are angled here, I think that this part is going to be on top of this part, and this part's going to be on top of this part, and all that kind of thing. So I will adjust the shading accordingly. You know, once I get this line to be straight. And have just all the blobs removed. Gotta remove all the blobs. I think it also needs to be just a touch thicker here. There we go. Okay. So what I'm gonna do with this, gonna send it up a little and have it be more like diamond shaped. Do I like that? Yeah, I think it's fine there. I'll keep the other ones like this. I think it's fine. I say such things more and more as I get further away from the face. But I do think that this is fine here. And I'll just send this one all the way down until it's ready to combine with the next one. And I think this is the last thing I have to do on the head, at least for now. I mean, besides accessories, I guess. So I'll be able to just get into all those things. And it's like I do have the back hair to do, but that's going to be like the last thing. Since her back hair is so long. It's so long that I want to make sure that I have the body drawn, since the body is going to be on top of it. So I don't want to be doing that early. Because otherwise I'd probably just be doing a lot of extra and unnecessary drawing, and you know, that's just a waste of time. This is why I tend to like to approach things by doing things in front first. So that this way I know where they live, I know where they're going to be hanging out, and I can just not worry about the things on top. So here I know that the other half of this braid is covered by her hair here, so I don't have to draw it at all. I'm not doing any animations, so I don't even have to worry about it. And I can just draw normally. And I know that because I have this fully rendered here, that this is going to be where it overlaps. And I just know exactly how much detail I need. So I just like doing the parts on top first. So that's why, you know, the hair behind her, it's gonna come near the end. Because it's behind her. It is behind everything. And I see I have a little blurry spot right there that did not get cleaned properly, so let's clear that out. There we go. It's like it may look fine now, but it won't look good at all once the background of this image is transparent. It will have a transparent background. That gray is gonna get out of here. But I just like working on top of a neutral gray. Stops the colors from getting all skewed. And stops me from getting confused. It also stops just the stark white of the transparent background and the checkerboard pattern and all that stuff from being annoying. Neutral gray is a great color to work on top of. Okay. So here, get this one. This one's kind of doing some interesting stuff apparently, but I think it looks okay, so I'm gonna keep it. I don't know if it's entirely accurate, but, you know, looks fine, so it's fine. That's kind of my logic when it comes to hair that's just kind of receding into the back like this. It's like, you know, I could be super particular about it like I am with most things, but I don't really think there's much need to. With here, it's fine. All is well. I will draw just like a little sliver here. Just because I do think a little tiny sliver of it will be visible right here. I'll even get the shape right. I'm feeling generous today, so I will get the shape right. Okay, and this is where it goes into the big hair buns, so once I smooth this out to my liking, that'll be it for the back braid there. You know, I gotta say, I am very much looking forward to doing all of the hair science. I think that might have to wait until next time because hair takes a long time to render, and I still have a couple more accessories I want to draw. I might just do her earrings now. Just knock out all of the head-based accessories. Okay. So just this little guy here now. Gonna get him nice and straight. And there we go. Alright, let me check it. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Alright, so from there... Let's see, I think I would just want to do one thing, and that's I want to put a little divot right there, just to show that the other part of the braid would be sticking in there. And then I want to add just a couple of spots where the lines are a little bit thicker. It makes things look more braid-like, in my opinion. So for you, that would be here. And this is kind of where the hair would overlap with each other. But I think the rest is pretty alright, so I'll go ahead and leave it like that. And I think that's about all that needs for now, at least until science. So, yeah, let's go into the hair bun. Let's see. Actually, no, one more thing. This angle I think is bad. I want to push you down a little bit more. There's always one little thing, you know? Okay, and I actually need you to come out like this, and then maybe turn. I'm not sure if that turn is accurate, but it makes it read better, so I'm gonna do it. I think it makes it a little bit easier to tell what is going on here with that like that. And that's what's really important when it comes to stuff further back there. Just you want to make sure that the person looking at it can understand what's going on. Still not quite satisfied, but I think I know what I need to do. I think I just made it a little bit too short. Right there is the only part that I'm not satisfied with, though. The rest I think looks good. So it's alright, I'll just move it on out. Let it kind of blend in with the buns there. Make a nice little dark spot for it right there, and that should be a little better. Okay, and then I think this one here should actually be like this. And it should kind of combine with this one down here. And this can come a little further out. And I can get that shape that I want. And this can come a little further out. And this can come a little further down. And things are getting a little bit messy, but it'll be okay once I kind of fix it up. Okay. Yeah, I just wasn't quite satisfied with the shape here. I think we see a little bit more of this side on this part right here. So I'm just trying to put the other side of the braid back in a little bit more sensible way here. It was just leaving me a little bit unhappy with how things were. And you know, that's just no good. Gotta be happy with how things are. If you're not happy, then you change it. I'm still not happy. Okay, I need to think about this for a second then. Because something about the shapes here is just not quite working. Maybe it'll work better if I do it like this. Kinda keep the parallelogram thing going. And there'd be a little sliver there. I'll get the width consistent, so I think we only see like a tiny sliver of it. Okay, that's a little better. And then I can just have this kind of fade into nothing here. Have everything get nice and ambiguous in that shadow. Fix the angle right here. Have them all kind of going a little bit more the same direction. And I think I actually would like you to be a little bit longer through there. Which might end up merging these two together, but I think that's fine. Yeah, that's better. That's a lot better, actually. Okay, cool. I figured it out. Okay, just goes to show, if something is wrong, and you can sense it, it's worth trying to figure it out. Even for just little braid in the back here, that's just kind of a minor thing. It's worth it. And then this will come up like that, and over here. So this will be where the braid ends. Or rather, at least where it starts overlapping with the big hair buns there. So this is why I'm glad I don't have to draw more braids. They always end up being surprisingly tricky. Looking at them, I always feel like they should be easy, but there's always a shenanigan or two. Always. Something always trips me up a little. But it's alright, because I do figure it all out in the end. Okay, so then I want that. And now I can get the thickness here right. We'll let this kind of cover part of it there. And there's the hairband. Now I just got to make everything a little bit straighter. Let this kind of come in there. I'll make the line a little bit thicker, and I think that should do it. Yeah, that's much better. Okay. I think that's good enough. I think this part might still be a little bit off, but I think this is fine. We'll see how I feel about it in like 5 minutes when I look away from it. Because right now I don't want to look at it, so I'm not gonna. I'm gonna go work on the... I've got to go work on the buns here. I would like to get them looking really good now. Because I am determined to finish all these things so that this way I can just have a happy, fun science time next time. Because I think whatever I'm able to do there will really just make all of this look better. I have ideas. I have so many ideas. But I haven't quite figured out what level of detail hair should have. And where certain shadows and highlights and all these exciting things should go. But that's why I just gotta go in and try it. Don't think I'll have enough time today, though, just because hair is extremely time-consuming. So I think it's gonna take me a little bit in order to draw all this properly. And I want to take my time because hair is important and I want it to look good. Hair, you know, a good 50% of your anime girl. So make sure you get the hair nice. Because every anime girl is contractually obligated to have like half her body weight in hair. Okay, so that's pretty good. I want to get this end part. So let's get rid of any slight hint of curviness happening here. It must be straight. Just super duper straight. Okay. And here, I am going to cover this part up with black for now because I don't feel like switching colors. And I do kind of have to get this part straighter. And I'll just fix it up once I have the outside the way that I want it. It doesn't really matter if I cover up part of it for now. As long as I get the outside doing what I want, all is well. I can lock the layer and fix it up at the end. Okay. Looking much better now. Just got a little bit smooth here. Okay. Okay. Let's see, right here is still a little bit blobby, so I'm gonna kind of fix that. This point here is really important to her silhouette, so I definitely want to make sure I get those straight lines very, very straight. Because if they're not, it'll make her look a little bit curvier than I want her to be. Okay, there we go. I think that's good for the outside. Yep, seems fine. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and smooth out the outside over here too while I'm used to drawing these kinds of shapes. And then I'll go figure out the inside. Let's see here. Up. Over. Perfect. And then it'll come down. Right here. I don't want it to overlap with the edge of this thing. I want to make sure that there's a little bit of space. So I'm actually going to extend this over just a little bit more, just so that I can have a sharper looking angle without overlapping things I don't want to overlap. There we go. Eliminating all those curves. Okay. And it is worth noting that normally I would want to keep these things curved. Like, that is absolutely true. I definitely would. But I am trying something here. And I do think that having everything is just super duper straight like this is helping the stylistic choice I'm going for here. It's making everything look a little bit more overly dramatic. And I think it suits the just stark black shading very well. So it is a choice. It is deliberate. And I know what I'm doing. No matter how weird it sounds. No matter how weird it sounds. Okay. So that should be good for over there. No. We're still a little curved here, aren't we? I want this to be one straight. Okay. So. Time to get all the inside parts. Phew, here we go. All right. Man, am I looking forward to experimenting with hair texture. I'm gonna get a little taste of it right here just because it looked really bad without it over on this side. But this is basically what I want to experiment with up on the other parts of her hair. Just putting in little strandy parts. Little highlights. No highlights here yet. But there will be. At least this side. We'll definitely be getting highlights. I can see it. In my mind's eye. Like, I know you guys can't see it yet, but I assure you, it looks very cool. You'll just have to take my word for it for a little longer. It might take until Sunday. But I'll get there. And then you two can see all the cool stuff. That's the really nice thing about actually making stuff. Because, you know, before it's down, before it's in a form that other people can understand, whether, you know, it's the drawing or writing a story or making a game or what have you. It's not really real until other people can interact with it. Otherwise, it's just, you know, random stuff in your head. It is simply an idea. And you can't do much with an idea. Oh, I don't have this lining up properly, do I? Because this should be coming up like here, and yeah. Alright, let's fix that. Because I kind of want this to bleed out closer to the edge here. Yeah. Alright. Locked layer. I always forget when I lock layers, and then I'm like, wait, why is it not drawing? And I'm just like, oh yeah, I locked the layer. Cannot draw on a locked layer. It's not allowed. It is forbidden. Okay. Next. Right, this is still not as straight as I want it. Got like a little bump in there, and then no weird bumps allowed. Like, I don't even allow that my normal art, let alone something like this. Okay, I'll let this guy come out just a little. I think it looks nice. Kinda ties the area together, I think. And some of these are probably gonna get a little bit crushed and drawn over, but it's okay. I'll fix it, and it'll be fine. And I'll just add little things like this. I think that they will look nice when the time comes. And, you know, it all makes sense to me, and that's what matters right now. But I do hope that in the near future, it will also make sense to all of you. And everything that I'm doing here will just be like, ah, yes. That's what it was for. Always the hope. The other option is I basically look at it and I'm just like, no, that looks bad. Let's do something else. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, and before I continue on that side, I want to get the ear shadow here. I don't know if this is necessary, but I do think it looks kind of cool, so I'm going to roll with it. And I'll probably do some stuff to make it a little bit strandy, but I think I will do that with the rest of the science. Unless I get a really good idea that I want to do with what I have here, which I might. But I don't know if I will or not. So for now, I'll just smooth it out like this. And at the very least, with it like this, I will be able to just transition into whatever thing I want to try very easily. Because I already know that this looks good. See, that's why I said hair is just a little time consuming. Okay. How are we looking so far? The angle of this is terrible. I can't leave it like that. This does mean I'm going to have to redraw part of it, but that's a little sad. It's for the best. It needs to match up with the angle on this line a little better. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, let's fix it. Let's fix that. Can't leave it in such a sad state where it doesn't make sense and looks bad. Now, if it didn't make sense but it looked good, I'd probably still leave it. But if it looks bad, it's like that's just sad. Why would you why would you intentionally leave a picture in a state that just looks bad? I'd feel so sad for the picture. I'll just do it like that. I think that's fine. I still want this guy to be nice and thin though, so I'm gonna bring that back, and there we go. And that looks much better. That is following the angle here much, much better. Okay, so I think before I do all of these middle ones, I'm actually gonna go do the ones at the bottom here. These ones have a particular structure to them that must be honored, so I want to make sure that all of this looks right before I get into making everything else right. Because now these are going to be things that I know I can follow and trust. Once I have them looking nice. I'll go ahead and make this pink part a little bit thicker than on the other side. Or rather this long side here. I think that will work well for what I'm trying to do. And I just want a little bit of the edge kind of coming through there, meeting up with up here. And that is how I will define the curve. Because even though I'm drawing this all in straight lines, it's still ultimately representing a curve here. Where it's wrapping around. So I still kind of wanted to have a similar impression, just, you know, straighter. With a straight edge instead of a round edge. I still want to make it feel like it is wrapping around there. And here is just to separate the back hair here from this front hair. So I'll put a little bit through there, but not much. Let it kind of taper off nicely up there. That's the only reason I'm drawing so far up, so that this way I can taper it out a little bit nicer, make it into a nice triangle. And then I can go from there. Kind of doing the same thing down here. But that should be a nice degree of separation there, and now I can do the same thing for this one. Let's see, I think I still want like a little bit of a black line running down here. So I will still put that in. Does mean I need to make this a little bit longer there. I don't like quite how thin it was. There we go. I'm gonna go all the way to the edge for now. I will put a black line around it in a little bit, but right now I just kind of want to... I just kind of want to get the basic stuff in there in a way that makes sense to me. Let me see, are you folding the right way? I need to check that now. Gotta make sure those angles are good and that I am happy. Otherwise, you know, nothing will look right. So it's okay if I'm a little rough here. There's a reason I hadn't cleaned up that spot yet. You know, right here specifically. Because I wasn't sure if I was going to need to change it a little. And turns out I did, but only a little. There we go. I think that looks better. Let me actually elongate this a little bit. There. Now it looks like it's wrapping around a bit better. Okay, and that is a nice structure. I like it a lot. This, I think, should actually be angled upward just a little bit more. So kind of a little bit more like that. And that shape will affect everything else here. I will vary some of these things here. Get all of this kind of following those angles that I established just a little bit better. You know, like this one is off. So now that I have that fixed, I think I can really bring out the rest. That's why I wanted to get down there. That's exactly why I wanted to get down there, because now I can kind of run all these lines to be somewhat parallel to each other. And it should look pretty all right. You know, once I get it all drawn. I think I do want a few lines coming this way. Maybe a thicker one just right here. Oh no, you were fine. Okay. Okay, so something like that. Maybe a little guy right there. Okay, so some of those are still pretty curved, but I think that looks like a nice variation of balance in the hair. It's important because, like, if you make them all the same width and length, it won't look very good. Like, I think up here still looks pretty bad. But I just haven't drawn it yet. It's fine. It can look bad for a little while longer. But if you want hair to look nice, there definitely has to be a lot of variation in the width and length of kind of the separation things. Because if it looks too samey, it looks very geometric and not kind of organic and fluffy at all. And that's a really bad sign when you're trying to make hair look nice. You definitely want your hair to look very fluffy, and I think I actually drew this too high. Unless you're going for something specific, like when I'm drawing something in like a stained glass style, I don't try to make the hair look quite as fluffy. I try to make it look, you know, more stained glass-like, which is more man-made and geometric. But unless you're going for something specific like that, You want to make it look a little bit more organic and random, and if you have things just looking the same, it just won't look like that. It'll look very artificial and man-made. That's exactly why it works with something that's supposed to look like stained glass or, you know, tarot cards or something, because those are man-made. That's all there is to it. They are man-made. So if you want it to look like something man-made, then, you know, there you go. That's how you do it. But not what I'm going for here, so trying to avoid that. I always like to frame art discussions in that way, as opposed to just saying, you know, don't do this, don't do that. Because, you know, the reason you don't do this or that is because typically you're trying to accomplish something else. Like, I'm sure that there are a lot of people out there that say, never shade with solid black. Here I am. Hello, I am shading with solid black and highlighting with solid white. On purpose. And it looks good. But it is because I'm trying to do something specific. If you're not trying to do what I'm trying to do here, I think it would actually look pretty bad. Especially if you're going for something, you know, softer or something more realistic, it'd look extremely bad. But for this, exactly what I'm going for here, where it's just meant to be a pure style and pure nonsense, hell yeah. Exactly what I want. So I always... This is why I try to explain why I'm making some of these decisions. And why I'm using some of the colors that I want, that I'm picking and that kind of thing. Because it's easy to say, you know, these are the rules. These are the rules of art. And you just don't do this. But I think it'll lead to bad results. Because, like, there's a reason people say to avoid, you know, X, Y, and Z. And a lot of the time, it's just because it's not what they're going for stylistically. But other times, it's... Yeah, you know, there's generally a good reason for a lot of this advice. Because I can't think of too many other situations other than, like, what I'm doing here, where shading with solid black is a good idea. Generally, you don't wanna. So it's not like the general advice is bad, it's just... there's a place for it. There is. I'm just trying to get the width of this line where I want it, and it's not working. Because, like, I want it to line up with this one a little bit better. And it doesn't want to. Very rude. So don't worry, if I ever say, you know, don't do something, you know, you can ask me why. I'll do my best to explain. I'll do my best to explain why I'm doing it and why I'm not doing something else. So that this way you can maybe actually understand what I'm doing instead of just kinda blindly copying. I have little kids. Like, my younger one is 3. And I often think in terms of just being a beginner at something. I've been feeling it hard with writing. And just copying what other people have done without really understanding why. And it can sometimes lead to good results, but if you actually understand why, you can incorporate that idea into whatever it is you're doing. As opposed to, oh, okay, don't shade with black. Got it. Why don't you shade with black? For a lot of people, it's because it's kind of unrealistic, but I'd say even with anime, it's because it doesn't really blend with other colors very well. And anime is also really good at just being bright, colorful, and just visually interesting like that. And unless you're doing something specific to make something visually interesting with the black, you know, just don't. And when you fade things to black completely, in most cases, again, in most cases, things become a little bit blurry and hard to see because everything is just so freaking dark that nobody can make anything out. That's where the importance of things like reflected light comes in, because they can let you add additional colors and additional information in your shadows. So this way things don't just lose their meaning. It's also why, you know, I'm doing things like this, so that this way this hair doesn't blend in with this hair and stuff like that. So that this way, you know, some of the details don't get lost completely. Black, generally terrible for conveying information. Because you can't really make it darker, and making it lighter will make it not look like black anymore, if you're not careful. Especially this kind of black. I can't really make this lighter without losing all of its energy. So that's why it works in this style, because I'm not using very many colors in the first place. I'm not really using conventional shadow shapes to convey the information of the picture. I'm doing all kinds of weird stuff. And that's kind of the best way I can think of to describe it. But it is true. If you look at a lot of kind of beginner or intermediate artists that use a lot of black in, like, for example, a character design, where somebody's wearing like a black coat and a black pants or something, and they're like in the shadows being edgy and shadowy. If they do not use other things like reflected light and good solid colors, good color choice for the shadows, everything is just going to get lost in the black, and it won't look good. And if you... And black is also an incredibly desaturated color. Like, it has zero saturation, zero lightness. And when using desaturated colors and shadows, it tends to make the shadows look extremely muddy and unappealing. So, no, I fully agree that using black is extremely dangerous. I'm just doing it anyway, because I like to live dangerously. And if you can make it look good, it looks really good. But you gotta be careful. You gotta know what you're doing. And even though I'm talking here about having desaturated shadows, generally I find that having a shadow color that is more saturated, that is more colorful than the base color it's sitting on, generally looks better. But then I'm just reminded of the artist for Danganronpa uses desaturated shadows. Very, very, very muted desaturated shadows. So, there you go. I always say, if you say that there's hard and fast rules in art, I can probably, off the top of my head, come up with 2 or 3 examples of people that don't do that. So, that is why I try to avoid talking in these absolutes, and I try to explain why I'm making the choice that I am, because I do think that they are choices. They are things that you can decide on. And if you find art styles interesting like I do, and don't really want to choose, you know, try a bunch of different things. Try the desaturated shadows, try solid black, try whatever you think looks super cool, whatever it might be. Try it, see what happens. Or don't. You don't have to try very hard to find your style. It's not like a piece of your soul or how some people make it out to be. It is a series of choices to make something look a particular way. I have many. I don't like to choose. And for the most part, they just kind of happen, and I don't like this. For the most part, they truly do just kind of happen. You don't have to go hunting for it. Just keep drawing. It'll find you. Keep drawing. Figure out what you think looks cool. Try it. Do it. And that style will find you. It can't hide from you forever. Because with every stroke you make, you're making a choice. Even if you're following somebody else's advice, you're still making a choice. And so you can make whatever choice you want, because, you know, when you're drawing, it's your universe. And you get to make all the rules. No one can tell you what to do. So you can make whatever choice you want. And right now, I'm making this choice. This is just messing around with hair, and I think it looks fantastic. So, you know, if I do this again, I'm gonna keep some of these ideas, because I like them. And that's what led me to this style, just making a bunch of choices that I thought looked really rad. Nothing else. Alright, so let's get this line nice and straight now. I'm kind of coming to the end here. This is exactly why I didn't think I'd finish the hair today, because hair is hair, and I'm always very particular about it. Very, very particular about it. Because, I don't know, I think hair is worth being particular about. I think it can really make a huge difference. For the longest time, I really did not like the way my hair looked. So I studied it hard, and I kind of reached a place where I think it looks a lot better. So I'm still just very, very particular about it. And here I'm having to fight a lot of my instincts and making things curved, so that's making it a little bit harder than usual too. But it's okay, I actually really do think it looks really good. I mean, look at all that. Fantastic. I look forward to being able to do stuff like this with the rest of the hair. I do kind of need to either push these back or pull these forward, though. I kind of have it in a wishy-washy place right now. I think I'm just gonna pull these parts forward. Just gonna use the selection to do it. This part up here that I'm drawing, though, I think that can stay dark. And then I just gotta fill in the rest here, and that's fine, that's easy. It's a little too bad that it came right after I smoothed this part, but it's fine. I'll just smooth it again. It's worth it for nice hair. Everything is worth it for nice hair. Always turn your characters into walking shampoo ads. Always. Or, you know, don't if you don't want to. Make whatever choice you want. Okay. So that should be a bit better how we're looking. Yeah, and then it gradually gets a little bit thicker as you go up here, and I think that works. So, you got like no black down here, and then a little bit going up there, and I think that's great. So I'll leave it like that. Just gotta smooth out everything else. And then, yeah, I definitely think I have enough time for this, and probably a few accessories. Nice. So life will be good. And, you know, maybe I can get those earrings done today. We'll see. I'm gonna do the stuff on her crown first. She's got some little tassely things kind of hanging down, and I want to make sure those are on there, and that they have some nice movement to them. Okay. I mean, it's like I said. Our artists have different feelings for different things. So it's okay. Enjoy your jalapenos. Is it hot enough that you can practically taste it on the page? Because those are the best kinds of drawings, in my opinion. Where, you know, you can either tell something tastes really bad or is really spicy or whatever else. Just by looking at it. You can feel the bad taste in your mouth. Oh no. Well, that was a little more literal than I was expecting, but there we go. Because there are ways you can do it without spilling hot sauce on the page too, just making the entire image feel so hot in that regard. Where you can feel the heat of the jalapeno just oozing out of it in your, I guess, mind's tongue. That's the kind of thing I like to go for, of just optimizing what I think the viewer should be feeling, and that's why I like to do all kinds of weird things. Okay, sounds good. Alright, let's get the width of this just right. Okay, and then just a little blobbiness right through here. But after that, I think that part's good, so I can go on to this one up here. The really, really long one. I want to keep this one pretty thin though, so I'm going to be very careful with it. I do kind of have to move it around a bit though, so this way it follows the shape of the hair just a little bit better than it currently does. Gotta follow the flow of the hair. Every bit of hair has a bit of movement to it. And if you break that flow, things just kind of look bad. The hair no longer looks soft. And I definitely want this hair to look soft. Because yes, even with a style like this, of extreme contrast and hard edges, I can still make the hair look soft. Okay, and I want to change the angle of this part a little bit. I kind of want it to follow everything else still, so I'm gonna bring it down like that. And then I can kind of fix up the little details that I changed a bit here. Get this running down a little bit more nicely, and there we go. So this is about the end of this group, at least. Then I just have one more big hair bun to draw. Okay. Get that nice and smooth. And that is perfect. Okay. So there we go. One hair bun down, one to go. Oh man, I'm not quite sure how I want to do the other one. Alright. Stretch. Okay, I do think first things first, I'm gonna invert the heads, this way I know where the ears are, and I'm gonna make sure that I have them outlined in pink. There. So there we go, I kind of know where that ear is now. As for the rest... Okay, so I know that down here, I have a spot that I want to come around. Oh, I don't have the layer locked. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer, actually. Even worse. Yeah, I definitely don't want to do that. Alright, well, thank you for stopping by. I hope you have a nice night. I think I should still be able to finish the hair here before I have to head out. Here's hoping. Let's see, I think I want an angle here. Yeah, that feels right. I don't quite like how that was. And then I think I'm gonna let this guy stick out just a little bit more right here. And let this angle just a little bit more nicely. Plop in my lines. I want them to be a little thicker on this side. And then let this guy stick up and come back down. And then this part should stick up and come back down. There we go, looking a little bit better there. And then this will come down here. And I think I'm actually gonna flip that angle here and here. There we go. That looks a little bit better. Okay, and now I can do the same on this side. We're gonna have this little guy here. He's gonna come over and up. This one's gonna be a little thicker and down. And then I think once I get this side, I can trust everything a little bit more, and I should be able to go all the way up a little bit more easily. This is what was throwing me off when I was doing all of this last time, I think. You know, my first pass through. Like, this is definitely right. This looks great. I like this. But I'm not so sure about everything else. And thinking about it, I think I might actually just let all of this be pink here. Yeah, no, this goes all the way to the edge. Then this comes down. Follow the angles. Yeah, that'll actually look a little bit better, and then I can draw a big black spot from where the hand is. Okay. I'm happy. That looks better. The rest, I think it makes sense for it to be a little bit shadowed by the hands, so I'm not going to do too much. In fact, I want to add a little bit of a shadow just right there. Kind of cutting it off, and I'll leave a little hint that it continues, but is being cut off by the hand. There we go. I like this. My nose is itchy again, one moment. Nose just does not like me. I don't know what I ever did to it. I've been very kind to it. But it still insists on being incredibly rude. Yeah, and I need this to... that little sliver coming down to be in a slightly different spot there, because I want this line at the edge to be very thick. And in fact, I feel like things are a little bit blobby through here still. So I'm going to smooth them out just a bit more. You guys know how I feel about blobs. I don't tolerate them. No blobs allowed. Okay. Curves are normally fine, but blobs never are. No blobs allowed ever. Not in my universe. Okay. So let's see, this part is going to be dark, but I do kind of like having a little bit of a strand right through here. I think it's just going to be a little guy. I think I'm just going to do it like this. And I think that's it. So this is following the shape of the hand. I want it to follow it a little bit more closely. And I'll do the same up top here because this is actually defining something kind of important. So I'm going to be very particular here. I'm even going to get rid of these lines for now. I will add something back there a little bit later, I think. But not yet. It is not time. It is not yet time. There. And now I think that this part is a little bit too thick. So I will go ahead and make it a little bit thinner. Kind of let the hair bleed on over to it like this. I think that looks great. And I think that this kind of shape is actually quite nice for here. All right, let's thin out this side just a little here. There we go. Just like that. And there's less stuff to shade over here, so hopefully the side won't take me quite as long. There was a lot to do on the other side. So let's see. Yeah, I think I can afford to keep it really, really simple here. I will maybe have a couple of lines just going all the way to the other side. Like right here. I'll make this one a little thicker than the last. And I kind of want it to run parallel to what I've got going on up here. So I'm going to bring this down a little bit more. Up and over. Here and here. And gradually I'll start getting it into the right place like that. There we go. Just sculpt it on out. Let's see, I think I want a little more pink here. Yeah, there we go. Extend that down there and this over here. I think I'll let this one go out just a little. I think that looks nice, but I won't do it on the other side. There we go. And I could add just a couple of little black ones going in there. I think leaving this pink is fine as I have it. So let's just go ahead and make that look a little bit nicer now. Really bring that in, and I'll bring another dark spot up like this to kind of balance that out. And let's see, I kind of want just a little bit more happening. But I don't want things to be very complicated at all anymore at this point. I'm just gonna kind of leave it kind of like this. Just enough to make it, you know, a little bit more hair-like. And this, I think I actually am just gonna keep entirely black. I didn't in my original design, but I think that it brings it a little bit further back and lets it sink into the background a bit more, and I think that's exactly what I want for that part. Just let it fade out. Very gently. This angle is bad, so I should fix that. It needs to be like this. Okay. And then there, I think that's where I will leave that side. I think it looks good. I think it'll look great with maybe a couple little highlights on it. Mostly on this side. I'm not sure how many will go on that side. Oh wait. I am missing a black line. Right here. Very important. I don't want to forget that. Okay. There we go. That's better. All right, so that is hair. I still want to potentially add more shadows and highlights to it, but that will be some science for next time. And I think I'm going to go ahead and add her little hairpin and other, you know, crown decorations. I like my highlights, so I'm going to go ahead and merge down the highlight layer. And I will just add the cross accessory now. Let's get that in. Do I have a good color for you? No, but I think I can just use a color from her clothes. This one. I think this one will be a great color for it, even though it's not exactly the same. I don't want to use too many colors. Okay. So this little accessory here kind of goes about halfway between these. So it'll be like this. Down to, I'll say, oh, my cursor go, there it is. Down to about here. And don't worry, I will have it sink behind her hair in a little bit. The other point, I think, goes right about there, and then curves up next to the crown there. Yeah, it goes right up to it. Right about there, even. I think I have that in about the right spot. I think I have it curved a little bit too hard, but it does curve a little bit, and I want it to follow the curvature of her head nicely. So I think it's something like that. I'll go ahead and smooth that on out. So I'm going to let it kind of disappear into this. I think I'll let it overlap just a little bit to make it clear that it is going underneath here. I'm going to have to put a line around it, so I want to leave a little bit of extra space. Let's see, I think this is curving a little bit too hard. So I will shave that off. There we go. I think that's perfect. Then from here, just down like that. Now it's this side's turn to get a little bit shaved off. That's fine. It'll all be fixed at the end. But this will help me get the shapes right. I think I do have it curved right now. I needed it in order to understand. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those curves now. So this one will kind of come together right through here and then out like this. So I'll have this kind of shape. Okay, now I don't really have to worry about everything flowing into each other quite so hard. I'm gonna, once again, kind of let that stick out just a little bit. I'll do it in just a minute. Okay. This side will go straight in, this side will go straight in. And there's no particular details on this, so I can just outline it and that'll be it once I have it all nice and smooth. I gotta get it all nice and smooth first. Just get it all nice and smooth first. Always very important. Everything must be smooth, thus declares me. But you know, since I was talking about style stuff lately, you know, if you don't want your pictures to be nice and smooth like I do, you know, you don't have to. There's a lot of people that do very rough pictures, and they're very good. The one that immediately comes to mind to me is, oh gosh, another name I'm probably going to butcher, but Blop. His pictures are very much not smooth. But a lot of it stylistically is not my taste, but I can recognize his skill. He's quite good. Let that stick out just a little. I think that's perfect. I think this is actually sticking out a little bit too much. I just remember that I don't actually have to put a black line all the way around, because it's gonna fade into the hair, and I already have the hair drawn, so I already know that that's fine. Honestly, I might just put the black line on the hair layer. That might be easier here so that this way I can get at the exact thickness that I want just right here without having to worry. Okay. It's a little too broken. Okay, let me fix some of these angles. This one's no good. This one I gotta bring down a little bit more like this. Has to be a little bit straighter through there. But this bend I actually think is fine, so I think that's good. I think this is where I want it. I just had that one bending a little bit too hard. Okay, and yes, I do think I will in fact put the line around it on the hair layer. I don't want the line to be very thick, though. But I do think that doing it like this will be much, much easier. And then the other side will be a lot thicker. Because I want to make it clear that this hairpin has a depth to it, and that's the side that we're going to see. Actually, this side should be a little bit thicker too, then. Because we do see this side. And then this side will be thin. And this side will be thick. And this side will be thin. And I don't plan to move this hairpin once it's there, so I can color safely. I can believe in everything, and all is well. Let's see. Still got about 10 more minutes, so I think I can feel comfortable. You know, after I finish smoothing that out, putting the little tassely bits on the crown there. I don't quite remember how they move, so I'm just gonna make it up. And I think that's fine. But they do look like little bits that would just swing around. So I want to give that impression. And it'll put a little bit of movement. It'll put a little bit of movement into her. I think it'll be great. And you know, I just noticed that this feels a little bit blurry right here, so I'm gonna fix it while I'm here. Okay, there we go. That feels a little bit better. Okay, there. That looks pretty good. And my foot is falling asleep again. There we go. Oh, that feels better. Okay. Okay, so basically there's a small little chains connecting these. I'm gonna go ahead and get the little golden circles first. So that'll be like... Okay, so there's one that's gonna be coming out here. So I think I'm gonna put him just a little bit lower than I normally would. That'll be like right there. Okay, then there's another one holding on between this one and this one, so I think he'll be like right here. Another one, and you know, just symmetrical, so the one connecting these two I think will be like, probably like right there. You know, I'm gonna put it just a little bit higher just so it doesn't tangent in an ugly way. And these are circles, so I'm gonna turn them into kind of like hexagons, but I'm just gonna start with circles because I find them easier to understand. And this one I think will overlap with the braid slightly, so I think I'll just plop them like right here. Alright, let's make these like hexagons. I don't want these to be curved. They are not like the eyeball. I do not think they have to be curved. I do want them to be a little bit nicer looking than this, though. That looks pretty bad. Maybe I should break out the symmetry tool. Maybe I should. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw one and then copy and paste it all over the place. Okay, you know, this is good for determining where they should go, but I am having a time figuring, you know, getting them to look right, so I'm not gonna try. I'm just gonna draw it right here. And I am going to get them just perfect. I'm even gonna use the line tool here. So this way I get perfectly straight lines. Perfect angles. I made it a little bit too long, that's fine. Alright, let's try that again. Okay, I think this is probably okay. So let's fill it in. And then I'll just kind of, you know, fix things up. Get things a little bit straighter, all that good stuff. I think I actually need to kind of push this down a little, made it a little bit too long. Where'd it go? Why are you down there? Oh, I guess I don't have this centered. Okay, that's fine. I do now. Okay, so I'll just sculpt at this a little bit until I'm happy. I might make it a little bit more octagonal than hexagonal. So let's see how I feel about an octagon instead of a hexagon. No, this is fine. Okay. Okay, so now I'll take this, just kind of plop it over, get it to be about the right size. Let's see, that's a little bit too small, so I'll be a little bit more careful this time. There we go. And now I have my straight edges and instead of a circle, and I can just move them around. And then I can merge these together and delete the old one. Okay. So, merge. Dangly bits. There we go. Okay, and then I'm just going to use the gem layer to paint on top of there. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to copy and paste this. Gonna put it above my gem layer. I'm gonna paint this gem color. And I'm gonna scale it down to be of the right size. They are almost the same size as the holder. I want to leave a little bit more space for the line, I think. Although no, I'm just going to put the line on the gem, so no, this is perfect. Okay, and once again, copy and paste them over. Save me the trouble of trying to turn a circle into a straight. The eyes get to be special. They get to be the circles. Okay, and you'll notice that I am no longer clipping the gems. And that's because I needed to merge it down and then reclip it, because Krita gets ornery when you try to do that, basically. When you merge a unclipped layer with a clipped layer. So I was just like, well, we'll just make them both unclipped for now, and then I'll clip it back at the end. Okay, and then there's like a little triangle on top here. I'll do it on one of the flat sides. And this is where the chain will go. And once again, I think I'm probably just gonna put the shadow on the hair layer instead of doing it on the gem layer, or on the crown layer. I think that'll be a little bit easier. Okay, and then what does this chain look like? Okay, so I'm gonna give myself a guide. I will use hot pink. No, I shouldn't use hot pink. I should use blue. Since, well, it's gold. I guess it doesn't matter. But it's gonna be something like this, where it connects up here. And then we get a little bit of a looseness until it connects up there. Yep, that is where it connects. Through here. And then, where does it connect on the big spot? Kinda through here. And then we get through here. Don't mind the curves. They will be fixed. Over to here. No, up here. And then down here. And here. Okay, so that's basically where the chain is going to go. And now that I have a route planned, I can just kind of draw some little diamond shapes to be little beads, basically. And they don't have to connect. They don't on her art either. And these are all small enough that I'm not really going to worry about them being perfectly straight or anything. It's fine if they're like a little bit lopsided. So I'm just going to go through and draw each and every one of them, and I'll have to handle shading next time, because I'm about out of time here, but I would like to finish just the little shapes here. Just get them all in there. And then next time I'll worry about their thickness and various things like that. We'll get the lines around them and it'll be great. And then I can do hair. I'll see if I have to draw the earrings, because I think they might overlap her hair a little bit, so I might have to draw them before I can get good shading and whatnot. Before I know where everything lies. All that kind of thing. Phew. There sure are a lot of little shapes here, though. Man. It's alright. It's necessary. It is. It's super necessary to get all those details just right. Get every little piece in and don't leave anyone out. Okay, and I think that is fine. I think it's going across her head nicely. So yeah, next time we'll get the lines around those and get all those gems looking nice. And after that, yeah, it does look like I will have to draw her earrings. So I'll do that. I'll probably just get the general gist of where they are over here and see if they're relevant. So I'll go turn on my layers now. And there we go. Malice has her wings. Ooh, I like this one. I think it's coming out great. I really look forward to finishing it. So here's hoping that, you know, with some practice under me, I'll be able to get the body better. I have noticed that I've gotten way better at drawing lines since doing all this. I might even be able to do like real line art. And man, if you'd asked me that last year, I would have said no freaking way. Never, man. But this is where I will stop for today. So thank you all for coming. And I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. I will see you all tomorrow.